The Porsche 968 is a luxury sports car that was sold by Porsche AG from 1992 to 1995. It took over the entry-level position in Porsche's lineup from the 944, with which it shared about 20% of its parts. The 968 became the final model in an evolving line, starting almost 20 years earlier with the introduction of the Porsche 924. Introduction: Porsche's 944 model debuted for the 1982 model year, was updated as 944S in 1987 and as 944S2 in 1989. Shortly after the start of production of the S2 variant, Porsche engineers began working on another set of significant upgrades for the model, as executives were planning a final S3 variant of the 944. During the development phase, 80% of the 944's mechanical components were either significantly modified or completely replaced by the engineers, leaving so little of the outgoing S2 behind that Porsche management chose to introduce the variant as a new model, calling it the 968. In addition to the numerous mechanical upgrades, the new model also received significantly evolved styling both inside and out, with a more modern, streamlined look and more standard luxury than on the 944. Production was moved from the Audi plant in Neckarsulm, to Porsche's own factory in Zuffenhausen. The 968 was powered by an updated version of the 944's straight-four engine, now displacing 3.0L with 104 mm bore, 88 mm stroke and producing 240 picoseconds. Changes to the 968's powertrain also included the addition of Porsche's then new VarioCam variable valve timing system, newly optimized induction and exhaust systems, a dual-mass flywheel, and updated engine management electronics among other more minor revisions. The 968's engine was the second largest four-cylinder ever offered in a production car up to that time. A new 6-speed manual transmission replaced the 944's old 5-speed, and Porsche's dual-mode Tiptronic automatic became an available option. Both the VarioCam timing system and Tiptronic transmission were very recent developments for Porsche. The Tiptronic transmission had debuted for the first time ever only 3 years prior to the debut of the 968, on the 1989 Type 964-911. The VarioCam timing system was first introduced on the 968 and would later become a feature of the Type 993 air-cooled 6-cylinder engine. The 968's styling was an evolution on that of the outgoing 944, itself styled evolutionarily from the earlier 924, but elements were borrowed from the more expensive 928 model in an attempt to create a family resemblance between models, and the swooping headlamp design, inspired by those of the 959, previewed similar units found later on the Type 993-911. Along with the new styling, the 968 featured numerous small equipment and detail upgrades, including a Fuba roof-mounted antenna, updated single-lens tail lamps, cup-style 16 alloy wheels, a wider selection of interior and exterior colors, and a slightly updated B-pillar and rear quarter window to accommodate adhesive installation to replace the older rubber gasket installation. Because some parts are interchangeable between the 968, 944 and 924, some enthusiasts purchase those parts from Porsche parts warehouses as upgrades for their older models. Like the 944, the 968 was sold as both a coupe and a convertible. Much of the 968's chassis was carried over from the 944 S2, which in itself shared many components with the 944 Turbo. Borrowed components include the Brembo-sourced 4-piston brake calipers on all four wheels, aluminium semi-trailing arms and aluminum front A-arms, used in a McPherson strut arrangement. The steel unibody structure was also very similar to that of the previous models. Porsche maintained that 80% of the car was new. 968 Club Sport. From 1993 through 1995, Porsche offered a lighter-weight Club Sport version of the 968 designed for enthusiasts seeking increased track performance. Much of the 968's luxury-oriented equipment was removed or taken off the options list. Less sound-deadening material was used, electrical windows were replaced with crank-driven units, upgraded stereo systems, AC and sunroof were still optional as on the standard coupe and convertible models. In addition, Porsche installed manually adjustable lightweight Recaro racing seats rather than the standard power-operated lever buckets, a revised suspension system optimized and lowered by 20 mm for possible track use, 17-inch wheels rather than the 16 inches found on the coupe and wider tires, 225 front and 255 rears rather than 205 and 225 respectively. The 4-spoke airbag steering wheel was replaced with a thicker-rimmed 3-spoke steering wheel with no airbag. Heated washer jets were replaced with non-heated, vanity covers in the engine bay were deleted, as was the rear wiper. The Club Sport has no rear seats, unlike the 2+2 Coupe copyright. Club Sports were only available in Grand Prix white, black, Speed yellow, Guards red, Riviera blue or Maritime blue. Seat backs were color-coded to the body. Club Sport decals were standard in either black, red or white, but there was a delete option. All Club Sports had black interiors with the 944S two-door cards. Due to the reduction in the number of electrical items, the wiring loom was reduced in complexity, which saved weight, and also the battery was replaced with a smaller one, again reducing weight. With the no-frills approach meaning less weight, as well as the optimizing of the suspension, Porsche could focus media attention on the Club Sport variant's fast road and track abilities. This helped to slightly bolster the flagging sales figures in the mid-1990s. The Club Sport variant achieved a Performance Car of the Year award in 1993 from Performance Car magazine in the UK. Club Sport models were only officially available in the UK, Europe, Japan and Australia, although grey market cars found their way elsewhere. The declared weight of the 968 CS is 1320 kg, 100 kg lighter than the regular 968. Acceleration from standstill to 100 km per hour is 6.3 seconds and a top speed is 260 km per hour. A UK-only version called 968 Sport was offered in 1994 and 1995, and was essentially a Club Sport model with electric windows, electric release boot, central locking, cloth comfort seats. With the added electrics, the larger wiring loom was used. The Sport variant also got back the 2 rear seats, again in the cloth material specific to the Sport. At £29,975, the 968 Sport was priced £5,500 lower than the standard 968, but had most of the latter's desirable luxuries, and consequently outsold it by a large margin. A 968 CS driven by Peter Fitzgerald and Brett Peters won the 1993 Sandown 6-hour race in the Australian competition debut of the model. 968 Turbo S. In 1993, Porsche Motorsports at Weissach briefly produced a turbocharged 968 Turbo S, a fairly odd naming choice for Porsche, which usually reserves the added S moniker for models that have been tuned for more power over a lesser counterpart, such as with the 911 Turbo. The 968 Turbo S shared the same body and interior as the Club Sport and visually can be identified by the NACA bonnet hood scoops, adjustable rear wing and deeper front spoiler. Powered by a large 8-valve SOHC cylinder head with 3.0-litre 944S2 style engine block. Tests conducted in 1993 produced a 0 to 60 miles per hour of 4.7 seconds and a top speed of 282 km per hour, performance comparable to the much newer Type 996-911. It generated 305 bhp at 5600 rpms with a maximum torque of 500 Nm at 3000 rpms. Only 16 were produced in total and only for sale in mainland Europe. 968 Turbo RS. Between 1992 and 1994, Porsche Motorsports Research and Development built and provided a full race version for Porsche's customer race teams. The 968 Turbo RS was available in 2 variations. A 337 bhp version using the K27 turbocharger from the Turbo S, which was built to the German ADAC GT specification, and an international spec version which used a KKKL41 turbocharger producing 350 bhp and was reduced to 12 kg in weight. only 4 were ever produced. 1 Guards red, 1 Speed yellow, 1 black and 1 white. These are the rarest 968s ever produced. Historical significance: the 968 was Porsche's last new front-engined vehicle before the introduction of the Cayenne SUV. Its discontinuation in 1995 coincided with that of the 928, Porsche's only other front-engined car at the time. In 2010, Porsche released the Panamera, a front-engined, 4-door sports touring sedan. A successor to the 928, based on that sedan's architecture, is predicted to follow. The 968 was also the last Porsche sold with a 4-cylinder engine. Collectability: while lacking the wider-ranging appeal of the 911, the 968 has nonetheless carved out its own niche in the hearts of enthusiasts. This is likely due to the 968's unique combination of speed and practicality, and low production numbers. Clean, low-mileage examples have become extremely scarce and expensive by 2013. In April 2012, when the Gooding & Company bidding ended and the auctioneer's hammer finally fell, the only one red 968 Turbo RS 350 horsepower machine had fetched a hefty $346,000 price. References. External links: 968 Forums resource website and forum in the US, 968net, the Porsche 968 online community, 968uk.com. Porsche 968 online resource and forum based in the UK, Larry Griffin. Road test, Porsche 968 inches. Car and driver, 47 €50.